MicrobrewGamer.
Welcome to MicrobrewGamerZ. In today's episode, we're going to look at a couple cool things. Over to my right, little Belgian Grisette style beer called Gate 37 from the Honest Weight Microbrewery in Orange, Massachusetts. It's a small town not too far from here. Little new little microbrewery that a buddy of mine said, hey, it's pretty good, just check it out. So I went over there and grabbed a growler of that. And the other thing we're taking a look at is Titanfall 2. Mechs and a shooter. I like mechs and I like shooters, so it's a really good game. I like the original. There were some downfalls of the original, but this one really improved upon its flaws. And it came kind of sandwiched between a couple of really big titles, one of them being Battlefield 1, which I'm going to take a look at it in the next episode. But I thought this game really needed a little bit more showcasing since it's kind of got overshadowed, and I really like mech games, so thought I'd take a look at that. Take a little sip here. It's pretty good. Now, the Belgian Grisette is, well, the past is really convoluted, and nobody's really sure what a true original Grisette really is. As a style of beer, it most likely originates the same area of Belgium as the Saison, and it may be part of that Saison family. And while the Saison was typically brewed for farmers, the Grisette was made for miners, which is where it kind of derives its name from. The type of clothing that the girls that used to serve the beer to the miners, that was something along the lines of Grisette-style clothing, whatever the origins of that word is. And that's where they kind of got the word, so I don't know what the original one was, but the traditional one, nobody's really sure how the traditional Grisette was really made, although typically they think it was kind of a dry, refreshing flavor with the hops not being aged, so it's and using a little bit more wheat, so it's a little bit sweeter, not as bitter as some of the other hoppy beers, and it's typically has a lower acidity than the Saisons because it's not aged, and also typically not very much alcohol, like 3 to 5%, so don't expect this one to be one that gets you floored. And the fermentation process, they think, for a Grisette's a little bit cleaner than a Saison because of the fact that it really kind of took off during the mining at the time in Belgium when the Industrial Revolution kicked off, so things became more and more accurate, more measured, so... Now, our friends at Honest Weight Brewery made this Gate 37, which is their kind of take on the Belgian Grisette. And they make it with raw buckwheat and malted red winter wheat to get a nice, really nice flavor. So it's a lot less hoppy, so it's a lot less bitter, it's more sweet. And it's a little spiced and has some lemon notes to it, so it's actually really nice and refreshing. Tried a little bit of it, and... They did a good job. I'm not one for something that typically has more hoppiness to it, but this really doesn't have the same amount of hops as you would probably see in a true Grisette, but yummy. So that's pretty tasty. So they did a pretty good job. It was in now the place, Honest Weight, in Orange, can be tricky to find. It's on one of the main streets, but the building is one of the suites in what used to be like an industrial building, so there's a bunch of suites in it. It doesn't have a big sign, so it's easier to pass. I put in my GPS, was able to find it pretty easy, but passed by it the first time. So, let's take a look at the Titanfall 2, which I've been wanting to dig into. Titanfall 2. It was developed by Respawn Entertainment, the same ones that brought you the first Titanfall, and published by EA. Now, this game is a first-person shooter basically with mechs, which is cool, and it was released on Windows, Xbox One, and PS4. I'm currently playing the Xbox One version. And one of the major complaints with the first one was a lack of single-player campaign. And the makers of Titanfall really listened to the customers and the fans, and they've delivered. They've created a really good, robust single-player campaign with a decent storyline. It follows basically like an infantry guy named Jack Cooper. He's a rifleman in the Frontier Militia. Basically, they're fighting against the IMC, who thought basically abused their power, resources, So he's a pilot of machines, the mechs that they call Titans. And the main character, Jack Cooper, really looks up to this Captain Lastimosa and all the pilots, and really wants to become a pilot as well. So he kind of took it under Captain Lastimosa's wing, and he gets kind of trained up. But they suddenly get attacked, their ship, and it crashes into the planet. And the characters don't have a minute to spare. Basically, the IMC is attacked, and they're shredding up, killing up their forces. Several of their Titans have landed, and they disable the Captain Lastimosa's Titan, BT, and mortally wound the captain. Now, he decides to transfer the ownership, basically, or his piloting of the Titan to Jack Cooper. So that's his last act while he lives, and he turns over control over it. And basically, the first thing that Jack Cooper has to do, as the new pilot now, is find all the batteries and parts to repair it and get it back online. And then the next thing to do is, once he gets it back online, is continue with the last mission assigned to the old captain and the Titan, BT-7274, BT for short. And they have to find Major Anderson and assist in completing with their original assignment, which at this point you don't know what that is. Along the way, basically, you have to survive the onslaught of IMC forces and, of course, numerous dangerous indigenous species that want to eat you. So I'm going to leave the storyline there because I don't want to do any spoilers or ruin anything for anybody that start off and play the game. But it is pretty decent, and it's a lot of fun. Now, what the original game was really acclaimed for, it was the multiplayer online experience. And Titanfall 2 has continued that. There's that's the main focus, is the multiplayer online. And they actually won an award for it. They won the Best Online Multiplayer Award from the 2016 Game Critics Awards. And with that online player, basically all the players duke it out with other players in their big mech-style exoskeletons called the Titans. And basically you try to destroy the other players, or numerous other types of matches and games. As you play along, you can upgrade the Titans, unlock new and more powerful abilities, or even unlock entirely new Titans, and different types of skins or paints to make your Titan really look unique. It's really cool. Alright, so that was the yummy Gate 37 for our friends at Honest Weight. And Titanfall 2, which was a lot of fun, as you saw that they added a single-player campaign and storyline to the game, which the first one lacked, which was a big thing that lacked, and kind of balanced out some of the flaws from the first one, which made this a really fun game. Both the first-player campaign was challenging, and, of course, the multiplayer is still great. Loved battling with mechs and on foot, so it was great. They did a great balance of the two, bouncing back and forth between being a true shooter and a mech game, which being a fan of the old Microbrewery series, really kind of tugs at the heartstrings. So that was a lot of fun. So trying a new camera, so hopefully you guys can let me know how that is. The camera that I had that I was using at a distance is just not, it's an older one, it's not hacking up, so I got a brand new high def camera, so it's capturing everything much higher def, including all my flaws. So I'll take a look and see how that goes. Let me know what you think, to see if you like kind of to capture the whole room instead of me just on the couch, so you get to see some of my gaming collection and my game room. So y'all have a great night, and as usual, good games, good beer.